Hi, everybody. Welcome to Awesome Sunday Show. We are a conversational podcast. My name is Connor.
I'm Pat.
And we have a very, very special guest with us tonight. Patrick, how special is he?
He is my heart and soul, my pride and joy.
Special guest, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Cassidy.
Cassidy, it's so good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
I'm stoked to be here. I'm very happy to be here.
Cass was technically our first guest, except that was back when we didn't have a third mic.
Yeah, so
now it's even better.
Yeah, we're not passing back and forth. It's real nice.
Yeah, because for the Ant-Man review, like literally, like I was like, Cass, just tap me on the shoulder when you want to speak.
Yeah, it was a little complicated. But.
Yeah,
that, and we're not recording this at 3:30 in the morning this time, so
yeah,
hopefully it'll be more.
What is it, like 11?
Yeah, we're not tired. Just
oh wow, it's 11.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be less stony.
But we're drinking beer, so like halfway through this podcast,
sick, dude, drinking beer.
Drinking beer.
All right, Connor, what's the topic for today?
All right, so we all have something in common. We all love video games, and I specifically have one favorite game of all time. I have many favorite games, but there's like one specifically that strikes a chord with me. Like I have a favorite movie, The Last Mohicans. You all know why I love that movie, but I also have a favorite video game, not for those same reasons, but there's certain reasons why this certain video game is my favorite video game of all time. Number one, I can always go back to it and how much I love it. So I figured, hey, why don't you guys explain to me, some of your, tell me some of your favorite games, but what's your favorite game of all time, your number one, and why is it?
It's a nice topic.
That's fine. All right, since Cass Master Flex is our special guest, we'll let him go first.
Before he starts talking, Cass has the sickest NWA shirt on.
Yes, he does.
It is.
Thank you.
It is literally straight out of Compton.
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you very much.
We are all white, and it's okay.
Well, so Connor hit me with this topic very hard, and did a full.
Like a cock slap?
Yes, very, very, very hard 7 hours at work, extremely throbbing hard. And I thought to myself, what's a game that I can always come back to? A game that's timeless. A game that even now, if I threw it on, I'm going to enjoy it the second like I threw it on back in the day. So I wrote some bullet points, and I would hope that some of you guys would agree. Obviously, we're different people, but, different folks, different strokes. But I'm going to start this off with a game that captivated me when I first played it. Not also did the story, but the gameplay and everything in it, which it is Max Payne.
I knew you were going to say that.
I absolutely adored this game when it came out. I could not stop playing it. Oh, my God. It was so much fun. I can easily play that game a million times. The movie, that's for a different podcast. That's the biggest pile of shit in the world. However, this game had slow motion, an amazing story, great characters I loved. But it's not my favorite. I did love that game to no end, though.
No, it's a good game. That was the kind of game that proved that Rockstar can tell a really good story-driven game.
Oh, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Because they were known for they had GTA, which is like a huge hit. Not a big story game, but more of an open world.
It was, they had the violence, the gun, the blood factor, but it also had such a great story that you were extremely confused up until the last few missions when things actually made sense. So, I'm a sucker for plot. I love a great story, so I guess that's what captivated me in, but I love that game even today.
No, that's a great choice.
Also on my list is a game that pretty much every game that Connor's turned me on to would be BioShock.
Fantastic game.
I can't argue with it. I'll play it today and it's still absolutely amazing. I beat that game in like 3 days, and if you know me, I love games. I'm a gamer, but that's hardcore. I played
now,
that
is that
game for
the
hours.
BioShock franchise or just BioShock 1?
I love 2. It felt like a mold copy of 1. And the third one I just started playing. I do really enjoy
Infinite?
it. Yeah,
Infinite.
I enjoy it a lot. But I gotta say, the first one though, it just blew me away.
You're still gonna like the first, not saying the story in Infinite is the best story of the series, but when it comes down to like gameplay and BioShock 1 is just, like, has a lot of survival horror elements to it.
And that's why I really loved
Yeah.
it so much.
Yeah, BioShock Infinite, which is the third one, is a great game.
Yeah.
But BioShock 1, I would give the edge to it just because
of what it was. When
of
first
what it
came
was,
out,
what
of
it came
course.
out, and then like what it established. But yeah, BioShock 2 was literally like a
So,
carbon copy.
Not my top again, but also a great shout out. Next is going to have to be, I mean, it's got to be on one of your guys. It's San Andreas GTA. I mean, all the GTAs were absolutely phenomenal, but when San Andreas came out, I mean, I played that to no end. Great game. I mean, not like crazy amazing, but I love it a lot. I mean, it's high up there. I played it.
Yeah.
Like, almost 100 did it. It was fantastic. Another one, which I really had a hard time deciding this wasn't my favorite game, but it has to be Tony Hawk Underground.
Fantastic
Great.
choice.
I mean,
Fantastic
You
choice.
look at that soundtrack alone. Tony Hawk was also, known for their soundtracks throughout all the games, but this game changed the state of playing skateboard games because you could actually get off your board.
Yeah, I remember
It
that.
was
A thing that we waited 4 games to do.
Yeah.
It was a huge and wonderful decision to make that.
Yeah. And I liked this, and it was the first Tony Hawk game with a story.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't
legitimately
It
had a
wasn't you
story.
And
play a
and
park.
It was cool, dude. When your friend betrays you and shows that video.
Oh my.
Yeah, and it's like he's like, yeah, that was me, man, and like, oh man, dude.
So
that's actually I didn't think about that.
I
mean-
love that game.
I mean, you're talking bands like the Clash, the Transplants. I mean, you're talking Nas, Refused,
yeah.
a lot
Social D. I mean, like, you can't beat that soundtrack.
a lot of the music I listen to today is because of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and
I found out about Rage Against the Machine from Tony
Yeah,
Hawk
I found
and
out- yeah.
Goldfinger too.
I found out
And,
about like Agent Orange and Goldfinger through Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Primus. I mean, the list goes on.
literally the best soundtracks to any games you can find.
Easily.
I was in the car with Lockwood. We were going to Farrell's, and he puts on "Evil Eye" by Fu Manchu. And like, I'm like, dude, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I'm like, which Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is this from?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, he looks at me, he's like 2, like
Yeah.
right away.
I mean, all 4 of them are like completely solid. I can, you can easily beat 1 through 4. Each one of those games separately.
I
Within
still
like
have
a
4
day.
for Xbox One.
Yeah, you
Well,
can
the first
totally
Xbox.
you can throw it on when you're bored and play a bunch of levels,
Yeah.
complete the parks. But I mean, Underground was so innovative in the fact of it had a story. You also had achievements to unlock, but I mean, getting off your board, creating things, being your own person.
The
it was-
gameplay was so smooth
yeah.
too.
Oh my God, yes.
And the way they included like such popular skaters into your story,
Yeah.
or making you like literally rise through the ranks,
Yeah.
was great.
So
and
that-
it was like a real
yeah.
welcome change.
I was
So
Bucky
that's a good
Lasek-
choice.
I was
Yes.
Bucky Lasek in every game. Of Control 4.
yeah,
I was
Well,
Bob
it-
Burnquist,
Bob Burnquist,
Yeah.
classic, so good.
except in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I was Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, it's right. And wasn't the Slim Jim guy in the second one too?
Yeah, he was in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Slim Jim guy, yeah.
Man, I hope the new one has secret skaters like that.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think they're going in the right direction with that one.
Yeah, I'm stoked
Yeah.
for 5. I'm gonna buy it, no doubt.
I'll get it too.
Next on my list, which is high up there, is going to have to be the Mega Man franchise. I mean, it was one of the first NES games that my earliest memory of, traveling with my parents and bringing my system along and trying to hook it up to the hotel rooms and literally playing that game to no end.
Yeah.
I mean, you put me on it today and I'm going to suck at it because the games are so unbelievably hard.
I mean,
But it's high up there. I mean, it's more of a childhood memory than it is the gameplay, I guess. It's more nostalgia that I feel for it, but it's still, I mean, it's on there just because it's one of those old games that, how
Yeah.
people feel about Donkey Kong. You ask an older generation about how they feel about that. They're, it's the best game ever. It's kind of like how I feel about Mega Man, you know what I mean?
Mega Man games are grueling hard
Yeah.
until you kind of get the system down, because the thing
Yeah, once you get in the groove of everything.
yeah,
you
like
start
once
to-
you know where everything is, like once you know like the order for the robot masters,
Yeah.
then it becomes like a lot easier.
Yeah.
But-
It's patternized, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect word. It's
Yeah.
it's a pattern, and once you get that
So-
pattern down,
It's on the list. Tony Hawk's Underground is above that, but it's worth mentioning.
yeah, honorary
So-
mention.
My final 2, which I had such a hard time describing and such a hard time choosing, the one below the one I was going to pick would be Mario Party 5.
That's on my list too.
Honestly, because it's a game that, Connor showed me and captivated me. I mean, I played all the other Mario Parties, I knew all the other ones, but this one, I mean, I know those mini games like the back of my hand. I know all the gameplay. I know all the boards, and it's such a love for that game. And even today, I mean, we're talking what 2003 that game came out, 2004.
Around that, because it was early in the GameCube life cycle, because
Yeah.
Mario Party 3 was the last one for 64. Mario Party 4 was the first GameCube title. I was really disappointed with Mario Party 4, and
Yeah.
then Mario Party 5 came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the Mario Party I've always wanted to
Yeah.
play.
And I mean, we're talking almost 10 years now, and I mean, it's still relevant. You could put it on today.
I think we haven't played it in a while.
We haven't played it in a while, but I mean,
Yeah.
even now we pop it on, and I mean, it's
But even like, dude, like we would get other Mario parties after 5.
yeah, agreed.
Like me, you, and Paul, we'd sit in the basement. We try to play. Like, let's go back to 5.
yeah, it just wasn't the same.
5 is, it's the highest rated one critically, I think.
Definitely.
And like, dude, like all the mini games are just solid.
Yeah, I agree.
Even ones that suck are still not
yeah,
that bad.
even the ones that you don't really enjoy that much, I still play it. I still love every
Yeah.
single one of them. It's half nostalgia, half I love the gameplay. I just love the maps. I love the mini games. I love just everything about it. It's just one of those games that just it's
Dude.
near and dear to my heart. Definitely.
Like Mario Party 10, like I played a little bit of that for
Yeah.
Wii U. I just wasn't that into it.
Yeah, I mean it's very Bowser based, and I have played a few levels in stores and whatnot. If you have to buy it, I mean, it's
I just don't like how you're all confined in a car.
no, I agree.
I'm whatever.
I'm still probably gonna get it, play the shit out of it, but
Yeah.
I completely know what you're saying. So my number one all game,
Here we go.
the game that I thought about for a long time, and it's probably gonna be left field, and I don't think you guys are gonna guess it.
All right. Well,
But-
we want a detailed explanation.
My number one game is Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped.
That's not a left fielder.
That is a fantastic fucking game. I love that game.
Honestly, when I thought about a game that I could play nonstop, nostalgia, throw it on right now, and the gameplay, it's got to be that game.
I think me and you have 100% of that game.
It's a game that I mean it's unreal. It's fantastic. Not also am I a sucker for the plot. I'm a huge sucker for plot. If a game has an awesome plot, I'm in it like Flynn. The first Crash Bandicoot is phenomenal. The second one is great, but the third one, I mean, you're traveling all over space and time. You got these amazing 5 bosses. You got to collect all these crystals. You're playing as different players. You're flying in planes. You're riding a tiger. I mean, 1998.
Yeah.
For PlayStation 1,
It's crazy.
blew my mind.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's a great number one game.
So, I mean, there is certain character elements that new people were added, like, friggin' Yuka Yuka, his evil brother and everything, and then Dr.
I
Cortex.
think it's Aku Aku.
Is it?
I don't know, but it's like it doesn't say his name, and like it's always like
Yeah,
when you get
yeah.
him, like-
Yeah.
So something like that.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like I have the instruction manual and I want to know, and we're probably both wrong though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But you're playing as Coco, you're playing as Crash. I mean, it's just one of those games that I can throw on right now. I'd still love it as like I did back then.
No, Uka Uka is his brother, is the evil brother.
Yeah,
That's who it is, and
Yeah.
Aku Aku is the good one.
is the good one.
yeah.
I just love that game so much. I mean, for the gameplay, for PlayStation 1, it was one of the real first games that I really did play to no end. I 100'd, I mean, I don't even know how many times, so many times. My dad first bought a PlayStation, and I saw, that game, the third one come out, and I mean, again, just played it to no end, and it's a game that's really near and dear to my heart. Like I said, the levels are amazing. You go in the Middle East. I think there's a level where you play like World War One. You go in like an Arabic place.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Like
It's a time warp.
yeah. I mean, the amount of places you can go in that game are just so cool for its time period
Yeah,
and for its plot line. I mean, I loved it.
that's Naughty Dog though. I mean, think
Dude,
about it,
I wish
yeah.
Naughty Dog would make another Crash game.
they're never
Oh.
gonna touch it again.
I know they already said they won't, but I
They
wish.
won't, but it would be. Yeah, I think it would sell unbelievable if
Dude,
they did.
Yeah.
That was at the one point in time where there was like an actual platforming series that rivaled the Mario series, like toe to toe.
Oh yeah, I could totally imagine.
And like, dude, I like that's a great first game. Like that's a great number one game to pick. Like, because I remember at that time, like being a lifelong Nintendo fan, playing Crash Bandicoot. It's like, wow, like this is what Sega wanted to do
Oh, of course, yeah,
with
definitely.
Sonic the Hedgehog, but never really succeeded.
Yeah, Sonic. I mean, Sonic is another mentionable game. It probably should be on my
They
list
didn't
because
age very well though.
No, they don't.
It's definitely sketchy gameplay. even
Sonic
today.
CD is the only one that it's like aged really well, and it was on a system that failed.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely more sketchy. I mean, notable, fun game, great game. I could play it for maybe 20 minutes or so like that.
The thing is, it's literally there's no difference per level.
That's what it is.
It's just monotonous. But as cool as it is, like I love Sonic, but like Crash is, all the levels are different. The bosses are like actual boss battles, not just fucking
and
around.
every single game never felt the same. From 1 to Cortex Strikes Back to Warped. I mean, every single one felt like I was playing a completely different game, but with the same characters.
Yeah,
and that's what a series should do.
And it was refined every time because you play Crash 1, it's like gruelingly difficult at some levels, and then like later on, it's like really easy. And like I still love that game, but like 2 and 3, like it's kind of like playing Mega Man 1.
Yeah,
where like it's really good, but it's kind of uneven in certain areas. Where like Crash Bandicoot 1, but then like Mega Man 2 and 3, like both of them are just as good as each other. Mega Man 3 kind of has bad slowdown in some certain parts, but like dude, like 2 and 3 of Crash Bandicoot are like amazing. They totally like the level design is perfect. Oh man, dude, you got me pumped on Crash. Like I can't. Oh
no, tell me about it.
I
man.
had it for an emulator on my phone.
Did you really?
I had all 3 and beat them all at work.
I
had
have
the Boardwalk when I wasn't doing shit.
I have 2 and 3 on disc on PlayStation 1. I have 1 downloaded on my PS3.
Yeah, it's it's a phenomenal series. It's something, like I said, that's a huge nostalgia to me. I mean, but it's one of those games that, I mean, I remember playing and beating and just like. I couldn't stop playing that game, and even today, if I would throw it on, I would love it the same way as I did back then. It's a real game where you could kind of shut your mind to, but you still have to think in a way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
dude. It's a fun game.
Exactly, fun game.
Yeah.
So that would be my number 1, and another good notable mention would be obviously all the Resident Evils. Notable, huge mention just because of the horror fanatic that Connor and I have turned out to be.
Mainly because of you.
Mainly, yeah. Well,
you kind of introduced me.
Thank you, but I mean,
what's the blood for? Like, watch this shit.
I mean, I've played 6.
I hate 6.
I wasn't really a diehard fan like Connor has. Definitely played all of them. I've watched him play many of them. So
he masturbates to them.
Yeah, Resident Evil series is like I don't know. It's like when you think of like a bad ex and you remember the good times in the beginning, and then you like look towards the end, you're like,
like what happened?
Damn, now I know why I fell out of love.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, no doubt. So another honorable mention, but as a number 1, it's Crash 3 all the way. I just love that game.
It's a fantastic
so much.
choice, honestly.
Yeah.
So Pat, how about you? You got a rundown?
All right, I'll go. Yeah, I have several notable mentions in no particular order. You already mentioned Tony Hawk Underground, and I agreed with all those points. I'm not going to go into it, but it's definitely up there for me. Classic games such as Super Mario 3, tied with Super Mario World, and then Super Mario and for Mario on 64. Like great, fantastic games that still bring up nostalgia and were just so much fun as they were great. Especially Super Mario 3. I thought that game was great, and I like the idea that you're basically playing a role in a play.
Yeah, that was officially confirmed today. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that, but you could always just tell, and I had that feeling.
Shigeru Miyamoto broke the news on IGN. He's like, no, Super Mario Brothers 3 is play. It's supposed to be a play and he said that because the curtains are in the beginning of the game.
Yep.
And then the backdrops always have shadows.
Yep.
So it's supposed to run like a play.
And you can see the screws in that they put them up.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow,
that's great. Yeah. That's great that he actually confirmed it.
That's been a theory for like 30 years or whatever.
Really?
Yeah,
ever since it came out. Yeah.
Jeez.
And
it's like one of the most popular theories.
And he just like dropped it. He's like, oh yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3 is a play. Like,
just like no big deal.
He's just like, yeah, fuck it. Okay, I'll mention the Crash games because obviously they're fucking sweet. I'm gonna go another one. I know you mentioned San Andreas, but I'm gonna go GTA 4, just because I feel like it was a much bigger step for Rockstar than San Andreas, because the story for it was great. The voice acting for it was great.
Yeah.
I really liked their take on New York City. I really liked Nico Bellic and cousin, let's go bowling from Roman.
It's a good game, but I just really can't agree with you. I hated driving in that game. I hated driving in that game with a passion. I guess because I was just so used to playing GTA and Vice City that when that new platform hit me, I was like, what the fuck is this? That game is still really good, but I don't know. I can't get down with it. I would choose San Andreas or Vice City any day. Or the new one. The new one's good.
The new one's good. I really like the new one. I like the idea of switching characters.
Am I going to go back to it anytime soon? Not really.
I did briefly when it came on to PS4 because my brother bought it.
Yeah.
And I gave the online a shot, but I got sick of the online.
Like, no, 4 is definitely good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I played the shit out of it. I mean,
yeah, 4 is great. I really enjoyed 4. As far as the rest of that series go. The Arkham series, particularly Asylum and City. Not so much Arkham Knight anymore.
Yeah, well, we won't go into that again.
Yeah, but I'm going to say I tried replaying it the other day because I got that Batman Beyond skin.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because I know what's going to happen here. I'm not going to like it. I wish they gave me that fucking skin to begin with. And Arkham Origins story was fantastic. It's just the gameplay was a little poor.
That story was my second favorite. I still think Arkham Asylum is my favorite story-wise. And like Arkham City, I like story wise too. There was just some elements I was just kind of like, like dude, like when Red Robin comes, like Tim Drake comes and it's just like he's just like hi, like does nothing. Like,
well, I mean, Batman wouldn't let him do anything, but I understand what you're saying.
But like at least they gave a reason in Arkham Knight somewhat. Like, and it was for a good reason.
You did get to use him in Arkham Knight at least
a little bit, yeah. It was just like, but that's your sidekick.
Yeah,
and then he gave like I don't know. Like that's just a heavy criticism. But that sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So the Arkham series, I wish Origins had better gameplay, like the level that Rocksteady did for the 2 games before that, because it would have been the best one.
Oh yeah, and we've talked about that plenty of times.
Another one I'm gonna have to go with Uncharted 2.
Ooh, okay.
The Uncharted series as a whole is so fucking good.
Yeah.
But I think out of the first 3 Uncharted's, 2 is definitely the best.
I completely agree.
I can get down with that.
The first one was like mind-blowingly awesome. 2 is just fantastic, and 3 was really good. It's just 2's gameplay was much smoother. It still had a challenge without being as ridiculously impossible as the first one was at times. But it wasn't as like watered down in terms of difficulty as Uncharted 3 was.
Yeah. I have played that game with Mike. I remember the first one, and I remember there was parts where we were easily stuck on for like 20 half hour, just like parts I was like, why did they make it this way? Like, there's no way we can pass this part.
Yep.
Yeah,
but
and
I know how you feel on that one.
Yeah, I really like the villain in Uncharted 2 the most compared to the rest, and like the whole mysticism that was involved in it that's typically involved in the series.
And that was like one of the like last games I remember playing of like that caliber and that quality, as far as that's almost, I would say, Hollywood quality that had a final boss.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you on that.
That's why I agree.
That's a really good point.
That's why
actually.
I love you put that on your list, because it's like it was a final boss.
That's definitely something a lot of more games need to emulate.
Yeah, I can't stand when there's just a game that just ends.
Yeah, right.
Like, what did I work towards?
I completely agree with you. I think more games need to emulate that platform of like, like this is it. This is how. This is. I defeated this massive. I mean, that's why Gears worked, I think, well, because every so often you had to pass this huge, massive either monster or like scene. And you really felt accomplished when you played those games.
Gears 1 is still the best one. I still think my favorite one.
Oh,
Gears 1 was fantastic.
Oh, easily.
Especially for like being the first one in a series as early as it came out on a new generation of consoles.
Of course.
It was one of the best games of that whole generation.
B, man. Cliffy B is a really good game director.
That's true. And you know what? Not that the rest of the series was poor. Like, I mean, the fourth one, which was kind of like a prequel or whatever.
Yeah.
That one was
I didn't get to play that one.
2 and 3 were still really good, but 1 was just like.
Yeah.
It was a.
But I agree with you. The Uncharted 2. I think a platform maybe more games should develop as the final boss.
Yeah. It was.
But anyway.
But that's because Naughty Dog has fantastic writing,
Yes,
direction, and just like they know what they're doing. And Sony has lucked out so hard getting them to have all their games
dude.
exclusives.
Oh my God, yes.
Dude, that's benefited Sony so fucking much.
Huge.
Another one, Star Wars Battlefront 2, which
well, I mean,
was
yeah, that's like on everyone's list.
yeah,
let's
a
be real
fucking-
here.
I mean, it's undoubtedly a fucking amazing game.
yeah, it's
Like
even myself is not a massive gamer as these guys. I mean, I know that game is unreal. Like,
it's like one of the best multiplayer online.
for
like,
multiplayer, like forget about it.
I mean, like the just a solo player is
Oh, yeah.
awesome, but it's one of the most fun multiplayer online games.
Yeah,
I
between
played
that
it
and
for
Halo.
hours.
Yeah,
I could play it. Yeah, exactly. I liked it more than Halo.
yeah. No, I
To be
mean,
honest. And Halo's online was great originally.
I was definitely stuck in a trap of Halo because a lot of my, Corey and all them, they were massive Halo fans. So I really got stuck in that void for a long time. But I mean, when I'd go over here or something, it was nothing but Battlefront.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah,
Halo
definitely.
2 is where it's at.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see what else I got. And I have to go. This one is another series wide type of deal. It's the Smash Brothers series
Yeah.
because they're just so fucking fun to play. Like we still try to play, at least once or twice a week, like a big group of us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that it's like, the same formula for every game. It's so fun because you get to use so many great Nintendo characters from so many different franchises, and then you get to use them and you get to play against your friends right on the couch and you can do online.
I think it's good that it almost never changes.
Yeah, and you know why? Because
They fine tune it.
they fine tune
exactly.
it, but it's like if it's not broken, don't
Yeah,
fix it.
if your formula works, then just keep
And
it.
it works, and like
It's
a lot
not
of
an
people.
annualized game too.
No, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
A lot of people, like a big trend now, especially for like upcoming games and recently, is like online multiplayer, with like the some of the single player suffering and then co-op play suffering. But Smash Brothers, as fun as the online may be, nothing beats just sitting around playing it with your friends,
Oh, of
talking
course.
shit to each other,
Yeah, no doubt.
like we do all the time.
Being the best.
I don't know. I think Donnie beat you, so
He beat me like once or twice, and I beat him like 100 times.
Yeah,
still
fuck
beat
you,
you.
Dr. Mario.
he still beat you. But like it's still one of the most fun things that we do, and like we try to get together
of
and do it
course,
all
no
the
doubt.
time. And, like those games are classic, from
yeah, you can't fight
N64
that, of
all the way up
course.
to the one for Wii U. Like now that they get to add more characters in, like and it makes it so much easier to like download them. It just makes it more fun because each character's different.
And
and
even as Connor said, they fine tune them so
Yeah.
much. Everything's so
Like the-
smooth and
And that's Smash Brothers is the Nintendo encyclopedia.
oh, of course.
Like
yeah,
there's like I
Definitely.
remember like I had no idea what Fire Emblem was when I got Melee. I was like, who? What? Roy Marth? What?
yeah. I didn't know a couple
And
of them, particularly Fire
Because of that
Emblem.
series, Fire Emblem's now big in America.
Yeah,
It sells more in the States than it does in Japan now.
yeah. That's how I found out about Earthbound too.
Yeah, same. I was like
Which is another good series. I mean, not up there for me, but still pretty good itself.
it's a little overrated in my opinion.
Yeah.
People love it, and I understandably so. I played Earthbound. It's a great game. It's not one of the best RPGs though.
No, definitely not.
It's still like Chrono Trigger or Super Mario RPG, which is one of the best RPGs ever.
Yes,
That game is so good.
yes, and you know what? Nobody ever mentions that game.
No, it doesn't get enough love. Well, it came out the same year as Super Mario 64.
Yeah, that's kind of tough, but it's still it got
Yeah.
overshadowed, but it's still a fantastic.
Square
game.
Enix developed that
Yeah.
game.
They
Or-
develop
well,
pretty
Square,
good games.
It was Square at the time.
Yeah. Oh, but going back to another N64 games, Mario Kart and Pokemon Stadium got to get honorable mentions from me.
Yeah.
Particularly Mario Kart. Mario Kart is like timeless classic game to play.
Nick Jobs is so good at that game, dude. Mario Kart. I'm better than him at Mario Kart in general, but Mario Kart, dude, he is just
Kills it.
yeah,
'Cause
man.
he's an alcoholic.
He's just so. My Halloween party, hours he was playing, he just didn't get off.
And he gets
That's
so drunk
that's
he can
how
only
he threw up.
he can get so drunk that he can only keep one eye open, and he could still do really well at beer.
And walk on my girlfriend taking a piss.
That's
he
weird.
apologized though.
But I know I love him for that. I don't care.
He's like
That's weird.
no, but it was okay because he was just like
it's
No,
an
he
accident.
felt terrible.
He
But
goes-
he,
accident.
he had to throw up. I
he
mean,
like
let's be
went
real
in. He
here.
goes, "I'm so sorry. I have to throw up."
Oh, it was,
like,
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it. She was cool.
That was the night you
hilarious.
found Echo the Dolphin in that room too.
Oh my God, yes. Echo
Holy
the Dolphin.
shit.
That's a Adam Ronette. Let me set the scene, people. You're a dolphin,
Yeah.
and you got to use your echo. That's it.
Yeah.
They don't tell you what the
That's
fuck
just
you
like
got to
a-
do.
And you can never hop over a certain rock.
No, it don't matter. You're just a dolphin. You're fucking in the ocean. You're
It's a
swimming
billion-dollar
around.
idea right there.
Oh, it's amazing. They got to fucking redo that game.
Sega Genesis, everybody.
Yeah, bring it back.
All right, and my second, the second like top tier game on my list, I guess number 2 all time, is The Last of Us.
That's your number 2.
It's
See, I thought that
That's-
was gonna be your number 1.
I'll tell you my number 1, and you'll understand my number 1 more so
I
than
think
The Last
Pat's
of
gonna
Us.
be mad at me, but I just started that game. I've been waiting years.
I'm not gonna be mad at you for that.
No,
I
you're
didn't
not.
play it until it was on the PS4.
Really?
Yeah, and listen,
I waited so long.
You guys are scrubs. I played that game day 1.
well, I didn't have PS3. But I'm glad I waited till I got it for PS4 because
Yeah.
the PS4 version is awesome and
It's a better
beautiful.
version. Yeah, it's 60
beautiful.
frames per second. It's great.
Yeah, but I'm glad you started that game.
Yeah, I'm 20% through it right now.
Let me. How do you like it so far?
Oh, it's unreal.
Yeah,
It's
just
so
wait
good.
until you get more into it. I want to know how you feel after you beat the game.
Yeah. No,
Because-
I will. Trust me. Yeah.
The online in that game is really good too, though. A lot of people don't give it enough credit.
That's
Well,
true.
I want to hear.
Yeah.
Pat's take on it. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Rock and roll.
Like I mentioned, Naughty Dog's job with Uncharted, like the direction of it, the sort of cinematic way, this knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely.
This game was better than the entire Uncharted series combined, in my opinion. The graphics on it are amazing.
Yeah, they're unreal.
The direction, the story, the voice acting, they were all like
Well, I mean, I'm a sucker.
A
Like I
pluses.
said, I'm a sucker for a plot line, and already, I mean,
this
I'm
plot.
so drawn
it's
into
so good,
it.
and like the plot could have been even if it was a little weaker, the job that the voice actors did would have just like made it still as great.
I mean,
like
fuck the opening. 5 minutes of the game, you're already like, even to like the cue screen of The
Yeah.
Last of Us. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
you know
but
what
like
I mean,
like the time you spend as Joel with Ellie, like especially early on in the game, is
Yeah.
like, all right, dude, like relax a little bit. And then when they start getting it like closer and like work together more, it's just like, wow, this is fucking great. And the job that Troy Baker did, and who voiced Ellie?
I honestly forget. I used to remember her name because they both did such amazing jobs.
It was
equally as good.
like one of Troy Baker's best performances, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And whatever, I feel shitty for not remembering her name because
Yeah.
of how good of a job she did. Not that she would listen to this and be like, "Oh, those fuckers."
Imagine she emailed us like, "Hey, thanks." Like,
Yeah, but no, like those two are like just fantastic, and the way they used the motion capture for that game was great because they literally filmed it like a movie, just motion captured. For a video game, like it just shows how serious Naughty Dog is taking it. And how they're trying to make it as cinematic and movie quality as possible.
well, that's the biggest feature of why
Yeah.
I'm so drawn into it. It's because, I mean, the cutscenes are like, you care, like, I just got past the part of where we're out in the city and we're climbing that building right now, like out in
Right.
the open, and it's like I actually care that I gotta dodge all these these people out here, all these SWAT people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the cutscenes and then what you get to play, it's just unreal.
The gameplay itself is really good too. Like I mean,
Well, it's like what Connor warned me. He said, like, it's one of those games that as you progress, like you actually do progress.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff you build. Like you feel yourself getting stronger at a point of when you started, how weak you felt.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
And that's what a game, actually
It's a
should
game about
be.
survival, and your survival skills improve as you progress.
Exactly.
and then even like the new game plus on
So hard.
Grounded,
Dude,
one of the hardest difficulties
Yeah.
of any game. Holy shit.
I played it on the second hardest difficulty, and I was like, "This is so hard."
Yeah.
I haven't played grounded mode yet.
Oh, dude, it's like I wish I didn't. It was so bad, but like it's a fantastic game, and I think it put Naughty Dog on a whole other level of developers.
Yeah.
And we mentioned this. We did a podcast about games that we thought would make great movies or TV shows, and that's my number one choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the map.
Like I would fucking love to see that. Which that there's in talks of that happening. Rumor is Maisie Williams, who plays Arya Stark on Game of Thrones, is going to be Ellie. Remains to be seen if it's going to be made, but if that's the choice, that's fine. Just get Josh Brolin to play Joel. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's that. I could see that Foley, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then what's that? The final, like the ending chapter. That guy who runs that one camp, Bill. Is that his name, Bill?
No, it's Bill was the guy.
Oh yeah, Bill
was the gay guy.
Was his yeah? What the fuck was that guy's name? But you know who I'm talking.
Don't mention it too
I know,
much because he's.
But
funny.
you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
All right. Have you ever seen Eastbound and Down?
No.
Fuck. What else was this guy in? I think he might have been in Argo. Cass, have you ever seen Eastbound and Down?
No, not yet. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you don't even, it's a great show, so I recommend watching it. But even if you don't, just look up the guy who plays Danny McBride's brother on that.
Okay.
Like looks just like the guy I'm talking about, and
really?
I think would be a great choice. Yeah. All right. So moving on to my top of all time.
Oh, hit it with me. I'm ready.
It's another franchise, but
Yeah.
I'm going to do a tie for 2 games in particular of it. And then I had gold first, so I'm going to go with gold version.
Okay.
First of all, because like at the time that those came out,
Yeah.
it was like, holy fuck. Like, and we were in what, like first grade or something?
No, I was older than that. It
Or
was
it's
like,
like-
we were like first, second grade when Red and Blue came out to the States.
Okay, yeah.
But I think it was like 4th or 5th grade around
For gold and
us.
silver.
Yeah.
All right, well, okay, but for the first generation, like when I played that, I was like, oh my god, this is the coolest fucking thing. I was like, oh shit, that's a dinosaur with his tail on fire. Oh shit, that's a fucking giant turtle with fucking cannons on its back. And like you're playing as a kid who's like roughly the same age, depending on when you were playing it, was taking down the fucking mafia of Pokemon World.
Yeah.
That and like all the variations of all the Pokemon at the time was like just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then so like the red version was my first one, and I was like, this is the fucking coolest thing
Red and
in the
Blue.
world. I was like, there's nothing cooler than this right now.
Yeah.
And then gold and silver version came out, and I was like, this is fucking cool. I like the new Pokemon. I like the new features. Oh shit, you can go back to Kanto after you do the first 8 badges and do another 8 badges and then you leave 4 again. I was like, fuck yeah, that's like fuck yeah, that's awesome. Because they doubled, the amount of gameplay, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then, with Pokemon came the Pokemon trading card game, all the other versions of it, the TV show, which was amazing, all the movies that are still coming out, but like the first ones are amazing. The first movie in particular with Mewtwo,
Awesome.
amazing
yes.
movie, one of my favorite movies of
I
all
remember
time.
seeing that in the theaters, getting the VHS. I mean,
Dude, that part when Pikachu's trying to wake up Ash, who's turned to stone.
Oh my god, I cried like
Dude.
crazy.
I thought Ash was really like dead forever.
Yeah.
I was
That was
heartbroken,
before I
dude.
knew like there was like there was like a marketing thing like
Yeah.
you can't kill
Yeah.
Ash like
Or it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, but like, and
it's
then
not like,
like
the Transformers movie where like they're dead. Like,
that
80s
Transformers franchise. Oh, the 80s one was okay.
Yeah, man, I can agree with you. I mean, I didn't grow up having a Game Boy, so I had to steal mine when my cousin was never looking. But yeah, I played the shit out of Red, and I mean, I loved it. But like I said, I really didn't have one growing up, so it wasn't a huge impact. But I remember playing Red though, and I mean, like, what was not to love about it?
Exactly.
It was just
And you know what? Like, generations 3 and on had their ups and downs.
yeah.
3 did add some new features that I liked. Some new Pokemon that I liked. I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of them. And I was kind of disappointed how you go from 16 badges back to 8.
Yeah.
And I felt that it was nice to have 2 rival mafia-like teams, evil organizations, but it wasn't enough. Like, it doesn't replace taking down Team Rocket
Oh my god, yes.
twice,
Yeah.
as 2 different, like, protagonists, which was great. The 3rd generation kind of disappointed me a little bit, but the more I played them, I still really liked them. I liked the double battles. I thought that was great. And then Fire Red, Leaf Green were okay.
Well, they're the same thing.
Yeah, they were basically the same thing with a little bit of addition remakes. The remakes that I liked the most though were Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yeah, those are the best. Those are the best ones.
Yeah. And like with Pokemon, it's one of those games that it's the same formula every time. You start off as a young kid, preteen, 10 years old, preteen, whatever, and then you go around, collect badges. You have a rival, collect all the Pokemon, fill out your Pokedex, take down an evil team. But I still love it, and I've played every version like a handful of times, especially first and second generations. Like I can't even count how many times I beat them. But even now, like with ROM hacks and like new emulators and stuff, and like some of the games that people are making on Reddit, I don't give a shit if it's the same formula. I still love it every time. And the nostalgia, every time I play, even though it's not the original versions, whatever it is, just hits me, and I'm just like, this
it just
is
makes
fucking
you feel
free.
young again, of course.
And like at one point on my phone, I had like 30 different Pokemon ROM hacks and beat them all. And not that he'll ever listen to this, but shout out to I don't know his real name, but he on Reddit. He's is the Suzerain. He created 2 Pokemon games on RPG Maker, so he built it from scratch basically.
Damn.
And he did a fantastic job making it like exactly like
how it was.
the mechanics of the old one, but putting in like cool stories and even cooler characters. But yeah, Pokemon's number 1 for all those reasons.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could completely agree with that. I mean, like I said, when I was younger, I played Red, and I was obsessed with the cards, the show, the movie. I mean, how could you not at our age group? So
Yeah, that was kind of like our thing. Like,
yeah, it's definitely like our generational huge. When
Yeah,
we
it
were
really-
in that age. I mean, and even a quote, the infamous Paul Martin. When you were younger, it really at that age really taught you more like decisional skills and like reading and following
Strategy.
a plot line, strategy, of course.
Yeah.
I could
Money.
I could-
Like,
oh yeah,
fucking
yeah, you
money,
gotta
like-
handle money and everything.
there's no credit system in that game though.
Yeah. You're like, oh shit, this kid's fucking loaded.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets paid thousands of dollars to beat people up. Let's go start doing that.
I know.
So I mean,
And,
I
like-
could definitely, I could see it. Yeah, number 1 game, definitely.
Yeah, me and
I
Paul
love it.
Martin used to play Gold and Silver back and forth all the time,
Oh my
dude.
god, yeah.
And then, dude, when you could do link battles with your friends, like that was cool. You could
Well, that was a
trade them,
game changer. Yeah.
and then you can name your rival, pussy or like ass hat or like
Yeah.
anything or a typical one, which is a not nice word to say, is faggot. I know people have done that here and there.
Well, because like you're like a little kid.
Yeah,
and
when
that's
you're
a
young,
funny
you're like, oh
word.
shit, yeah.
Like now it's like 2015, like you'd get like chastised for saying that.
Yeah, and I will admit, I still play Pokemon now. I'm fucking.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
almost 24. It just shows you how much like I love this game. I could pick it up at any point, any version, and be like, all right, this is gonna be sweet. And one other thing I gotta say is, I've been dating Becca for 7 years, but a few years ago, she was cleaning out her closet and she took out this huge binder. I was like, oh, what's in this? Fucking like 50 pages worth of Pokemon
Wait, it was
cards.
Becca's room she was cleaning out.
Becca's room, and I was like, what the fuck? These are all yours? She
Dude,
goes, yeah, I used to collect them all.
You met your true love right
It
there.
was then I knew. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to marry this girl. Like, wow, this is fucking.
That's fantastic.
I'm going to marry that girl. Anyway, I've rambled enough.
Connor, I'm
really, I'm
on the
interested.
edge of my seat. I can't wait.
All right,
hit
so-
me with it.
I'm pulling a WatchMojo.com and I'm gonna do a 1 game per franchise.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So
Their YouTube channel is really addicting.
dude,
Very big time.
every day I watch their top 10s. Shout out to WatchMojo.com. They're awesome.
Yes.
And they do top 10s for like everything.
Literally.
So, I have one favorite game of all time. But then, all right. Sorry for the interruption, guys. It's my parents' anniversary. I had to say happy anniversary. All right. So again, I'm doing 1 game per franchise. So I have nothing really in any particular order, except for the number 1. Obviously, it's my number 1. But I'm gonna hark it back. It's on my mind right now. Is I know you said one of your favorites of that series was Crash Bandicoot 3.
Yeah, definitely.
I personally like Crash Bandicoot 2 a lot more.
Okay.
Crash Bandicoot 3.
You
there's
can't
nothing
really
wrong-
lose between them.
Yeah, you can't. It's not that I have anything wrong with that game.
Yeah.
It's just Crash 2. It was kind of like going from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It was just a
Yeah.
much bigger game.
Oh, it was huge. Yeah.
And I found the boss fights much more engaging.
Yeah.
I like that you're Crash the whole time, and I think the stages in that game are a little more fun. And I've actually that's one of the few games I've 100%ed more than one time. I've 100% of that game 3 times.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love that game. I think it's a great game. The level design's great. Again, I mean, not to ramble on about Crash Bandicoot anymore, but that was just Naughty Dog is one of the best developers the world's ever seen.
Oh yeah, easily.
They're up there.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yes, hands down.
And another shout out to I mean, I don't need to say anything anymore, but Mario Party 5. I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about it enough.
Yeah, for real.
Awesome game. And I have to give a shout out to I really loved Wolfenstein: The New Order.
That's a great game, dude.
As far as like it's still kind of new, so I don't know if it'll last in my favorites, but
Yeah.
dude, I'm a history major and I love alternate history things like storylines and whatnot. And that game was just like a hark back to like how first person shooters used to be.
It's
like,
a fantastic. Yeah, it really
it's
is.
just like
and you know what? It's so well done.
every first person shooter that comes out now is either strictly multiplayer or all open world.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was just a single player game. You're dual wielding shotguns that are way too big for you to carry, but you somehow do it, and you're just blowing Nazis away. And like it was so much fun, and like there were so many secrets in that game. I got the platinum trophy in that game, and I mean it wasn't easy either. Like
No.
the hardest mode in that game, is one of the hardest modes I ever played in a video game ever, and I did it and I beat it. It was so difficult. Infamous Second Son I really liked on PS4.
Well, just going back to Wolfenstein real quick. You mentioned like how every first-person shooter is like basically multiplayer open world. I'm really glad that they focus on single player for that because I don't give a shit about multiplayer for that game.
The story's awesome.
The story is awesome, and a lot of games and stories use alternate version histories of like with Nazis taking over, taking over the war after winning World War II. But I liked the way they did it, and I liked the main Nazi villain you have to use.
Yep.
The one thing that pissed me off about the game was the weapon wheel when you were trying to.
It was
change
way
your
too
weapons.
sensitive.
It was way too sensitive.
Yeah, that was a problem with the game. That like, not everything is perfect, but like when you get used to it, you get used to it. But it's still like you still make mistakes.
Yeah, it was so fun. And one other thing I liked when you were choosing the difficulty, the different faces he makes.
Yeah.
Especially if you go to like the easiest one and he has like a baby's bonnet
It's
on and like a binky.
Daddy, can I play? And then the hardest one is Bring 'Em On or something like
Yeah,
that.
and you're just covered in blood, and he has the most like sinister looking smile on. The Old Blood was a very good prequel too.
I didn't beat it yet. I played it for like an hour, and I want to platinum that game too eventually. But I played the New Order so much that I was kind of like I need to take a break.
Yeah, it's better because it's like the same thing, but it's still just as fun.
But I love the New Order, and like, oh man, that like I was just like, yes, it was perfect. Another game I love to this day, Street Fighter 2.
Oh my! I knew you were gonna have a Street Fighter on there. I knew.
Yo, it's so
you're all about it.
I love.
Let's be real.
You know what it is? I'm not good at those games.
Yeah, you are.
I'm all right, but
You're
but like I'm not that good. Like
Yeah.
Street Fighter 4, I'm pretty good at actually.
Okay.
Street Fighter 2, I'm not that good at, but the gameplay is just so solid. The music is awesome.
Yeah.
The cast of characters is great. And that game it's kind of like how like every controller you see now pretty much took from what the Super Nintendo did. Whereas like at fighting games you see now that have a 2D platform pretty much took from what Street Fighter did.
Yeah.
And it's just like as far as like the 3D fighter was kind of like Virtua Fighter was the first one, but now everyone kind of copies from Tekken. Whereas like the 2D fighting plane, Street Fighter started it all.
Yeah.
And like when you listen to the music of that game, Street Fighter 2, like if you go to like Chun-Li's stage in China, it sounds like Chinese music.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, and you go to like Ken's stage when they're like in America by the boat, it's like it's like rocks, like da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da. Ryu stage is very Japanese in music on there. Guile is kind of like the gun ho American. I think you listen if you ever play that game on the stages, listen to the music where they're from, because like when you're in Thailand, it's just the music is I forget the woman's name. It's she's Japanese, but she even got on record that she's like, I wanted to make the music sound generic to the area that you're fighting in, to like distinguish of like where you at, because technology was very limited. So you could have a background that they're supposed to be in Japan, and it says yes, they're in Japan, but the background could be really anywhere. So they wanted to make the music that fit into where they are. So they kind of made it generic. So it's like kind of ingenious for the time, and that's why I love video games back then, is because they had to like they go around loops to do certain things. And
they're not afforded like the basically you can do anything now in any game.
And I feel like to me that almost makes the game better in a way, because they had to try to do something, and when it works perfectly. Like when you see like big boss battles in Mega Man, but there's only like one hit point, it's not because they didn't want to have just one hit point. It's because the NES couldn't handle that hardware couldn't handle what they wanted to do.
Right.
So, but it was actually easier to program backgrounds for a Mega Man for a game. So the boss is actually the background of the game, and the hit point is the foreground.
Huh.
So that's actually how they got around in NES games. That's where you see to this day the one hit point for a boss. That like now that every game does.
That's pretty crazy.
So like that's kind of like how it started. So like having limited technology is what like you kind of see like on a lot of games, like how that progressed and how it works. So that's why I really like that game.
It also spawned a lot of great cosplays over the years.
Absolutely, yeah. Great movie too.
Oh yeah,
oh,
movie was fucking fantastic.
movie. Oh my God.
A cool thing I saw the other day. Somebody animated Goku fighting characters in the Street Fighter franchise. It was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that game's timeless, and it came out like I think like a year after we were born, so like we don't really know how big that game was at the time. But when that game came out, it was like when Halo 2 came out. Like a lot of people
it was massive.
Yeah, like you have to read about it, but like when you hear people talk who were like our age around that time, like no, you don't understand. Like Street Fighter 2 was everywhere. Like people think Mortal Kombat was big, but no, Street Fighter 2 was like that's when you start. That's when like 1v1 like tournament stuff started really coming around, and that game really paved the way for everything.
I could imagine
like competitive gaming now.
Yeah, competitive gaming wouldn't
definitely
be what it really is today unless it was like really Street Fighter 2. So like I said, like I'm not really good at that game, but I love it because it's a perfect game.
It's more really so what it is.
It's what it is, and like for what it is, it's like it's historical. So like I said, I'm doing one game per franchise. This is my favorite series of all time, but it doesn't have necessarily my favorite game.
Okay.
So the Super Mario Brothers series.
Yeah, of course.
But I still think to the best one to this day, I really had to think hard. It's either Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario Galaxy. Galaxy,
definitely.
Galaxy is, I think, it's Galaxy and Galaxy 2. I almost really consider one game. But Galaxy is what really like. That's what Super Mario 64 and Sunshine really should have been.
It was.
And when I say should have, not like as in like those games were like underperformed. Both those games are amazing.
Oh,
but
Sunshine is fantastic.
Yeah, when you play Galaxy, it's like, all right, like this is what the developers probably have wanted to do for years, and now have the technology to do.
No, I completely agree with that. It was things that they were limited to. They were like, wouldn't it be amazing if we could do this?
Yeah,
and then they could.
And then a lot of people also don't like because Mario games. The reason why I love that game too is a lot of like Mario games aren't really known for their story. There's actually a really emotional side story in Super Mario Galaxy, and a lot of people don't know this because it's part of the side story.
Yeah.
And there's a room you can go into with Princess Rosalina, who's now like a major Mario character in the series. She has a storybook that she's reading to the little stars, the Lumas, because they're all like her children, and it's about her past. It's about like a little girl that got separated from her parents and how like the mother died, and it's really sad, but the mother outline looks like Princess Peach.
Really?
Yeah, so there's like a huge backstory how like Rosalina is actually from the future, but like almost like an Interstellar thing, how like time is like irrelevant in space. So and like how like actually like you don't really know who her father is, but Princess Peach may be her mother, so that's why she wants to help Mario save the princess, because it's like find your special one, like it's your destiny, like. because Rosalina might be the daughter of Princess Peach in the future, but like Princess Peach meets an untimely end.
It's extremely complicated,
dude.
Yeah, but it's
like,
fantastic.
It's the only Mario game with like some sort of substance to its story, and it gives you the same feeling as when you're watching Up in the very beginning. When
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Like it's like the feels start really coming in.
Yeah, no doubt.
Dude, it hits you hard, and it's like it's a Mario game that's perfect. That's perfectly designed with like an excellent with a side, because there's a lot of side stories in video games that are cool.
Yeah, huge side stories.
But this side story could have been a game in itself, and it's just so good. I love that game.
Yeah, I'm
dude.
all about Galaxy. I 100% agree with you on that one.
I'm telling you, man. Like when you get into that side story, it's like it's so quick and short, but the feels come in, man. It's done so well, and that's Nintendo, man. They don't really hold back with a lot of things. Like I'm a huge Nintendo gamer. I got to give a shout out to Metroid Fusion on Game Boy Advanced. A lot of people love the Prime series.
Yeah,
Prime series is excellent. Super Metroid's another really great game too. People say, well, what's better, Prime or Super Metroid? I like them both. They're amazing games. But I think Metroid Fusion on GBA is my favorite one because I think, to me, in my opinion, that also has the best story. There's like an alternate Samus in the game. That's like, it's kind of like a copycat, but she's evil.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to get into the story right now, but it's as for a Game Boy Advance game,
it's just very complex.
It's not complex. It's actually kind of simple. It's just engaging, and it's actually kind of scary too when they zoom in on like the alternate Samus because she has no pupils. So I really like that game too, man. Again, it's not my favorite series. Mario series is my favorite series of all time.
Yeah, of course.
Pat mentioned The Last of Us. I love that game. Uncharted 2. There's just so much. So I mean, with Mortal Kombat, I think Mortal Kombat 9 technically is my favorite Mortal Kombat of that series.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat X is really good. But I actually like the one for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 a little more because it has all the nostalgic characters, and it's still kind of like that fun Mortal Kombat gameplay. Whereas X is actually the most technical one out of all the games, and it's actually like the first Mortal Kombat to be like a tournament fighter, and I respect it for that. And the series really should go in that direction, but I really like Mortal Kombat 9 because it feels like an old school Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like there's just so much I'm missing.
It's really, this was a hard
it's
topic to
difficult.
narrow down.
It's difficult.
I have one more.
I just thought of 3 more.
Yeah, while we were talking, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, I have one more I have to give a shout out to, and then I'll go on to my favorite one and why. Mario Kart 8. I'm sorry. I actually have 2 more. I'm sorry. So Mario Kart 8.
Okay.
Mario Kart 8 is, again, it's the game that you're playing. It's like you feel like, all right, this is what they probably wanted to do for years, and now they're finally able to do. Mario Kart 8 is definitely the most balanced one out of all of them.
No, of course.
Because in Mario, like as much as I love Mario Kart 64, you're either Toad or you're Bowser.
Oh,
and those
easily.
are the best ones to be.
Unless you're Sean and you're Yoshi.
That's because people have. There's the Yoshi purist. It's like Paul Martin. He's Yoshi in every type of Mario game.
Yeah, of course.
Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Mario Party.
It don't matter. He's Yoshi.
It's just Yoshi. But because Toad is slow but can go around turns really easily, and Bowser's just a beast. He's so fast.
Yeah, he'll just
So Mario Kart 8 is the most balanced one out of all of them, and it has the best tracks. And like the gliding, the zero gravity is really fun, and it actually changes the gameplay up dramatically, in my opinion. But it's so simple.
I agree.
And the zero gravity, because in Mario Kart, when you bump into people, you slow down. Same thing in Mario Kart 8, but when you're zero gravity, you actually when you bump into somebody, you actually go a little faster. It gives you a little boost. So it gives you a little boost. So you actually want to change your strategy up a little bit.
8 is the current one, right?
8 is the most current one.
I really like the customization of the vehicles we could use too.
Yeah, it's really good. There's a lot more depth to it, but it's not too hard to figure out because it still also aims to children as well. And that's another reason why I like it.
At
its
its core, it's still a Mario Kart.
Yeah, because it's like you have family over with like little kids. Like, hey, let's all play Mario Kart together. Because for adults, it's really engaging because of the deep gameplay and the racing mechanics, and it's really fine tuned. It's evenly balanced between characters, so it has that aspect for us to enjoy. But it's a Mario game too, so like kids can enjoy it too, and like they don't care if they lose. And like whenever I play little kids, I go a little easy.
Connor never goes easy.
No.
I'm gonna make that.
No, he goes full Jared Fogle on him.
Yeah.
Connor John Cena's anyone at Mario Kart. That's easily
also,
right there.
Super Smash. You said the Super Smash Brothers franchise.
I just want to say, really underrated racing game, Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, great game. That is
Fantastic.
great.
Very underrated.
I think
Fantastic.
Crash Team Racing is better than Mario Kart 64.
I definitely was going to bring that up. Definitely.
That's a good point.
The only thing that Mario Kart 64, I think Diddy Kong Racing is better than Mario Kart 64. The only thing Mario Kart 64 has both over Crash Team Racing and Diddy Kong Racing is the tracks. The tracks are much better in Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, they definitely had a better.
But as far
team.
as like when it comes to racing gameplay, Crash Team Racing, Diddy Kong Racing are better. But then Mario Kart Double Dash is a whole different story. And then after that, done. Like better than both of those. And Mario Kart 8 is the best one, and that's why the Mario Kart franchise it's one of the biggest video game franchises of all time. Mario Kart,
and it's huge on like the DS and 3DS too.
Yeah. And,
like, it's not just like
Mario
for the
Kart
platform
Wii
itself.
Mario Kart Wii has sold 32 million copies. It's one of the highest selling Nintendo franchises of all time.
That and for a racing game too.
And that's really what it comes
like
down
usually
to.
racing games have like a really narrow market.
Yeah, and because the game can be so limited, but not exactly. You know what I mean? It's one of those games that it seems broad, from the outskirts, but when you get into it, it's really limitless in a way. Yeah.
The only disappointment with Mario Kart 8 for me is the battle mode. It's really not that good. They just redesigned old tracks.
No. I tried battle mode. I was not a fan.
Yeah,
of it.
but battle mode in 64 is really good.
That's really fun.
And like I guess going to Super Smash Brothers franchise, even though the Wii U one is the one I like to play the most, and I think the Wii U version is the best version out of all of them. There's hands down, and that's the one I think that is the best one. But like just for pure advancement and nostalgic reasons, there's just a special place in my heart for Melee. Like again, going back to the Tony Hawk's,
that's all about you.
Going from Tony Hawk 1 to Tony Hawk 2, there was just so much. It's like an entirely new game. Going from Super Smash Brothers to Super Smash Brothers Melee, that series will never see a jump like that ever again.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Melee is like still in tournaments and stuff. It's the most used version of the game.
Yeah, it's like the Street Fighter 2 of that series. Like people will always go back to it.
It's been more used than Brawl was, and then the Wii U one is. Although
Wii
that
U's
might
catching up.
the Wii U might overtake it, but Melee is still the most popular one that they use for all the major tournaments.
And like again, like that's just right now. Like we can have this podcast 5 years from now. Wii U may replace it, and it very well could be because the Wii U version is just so good. It's one of the best games I've ever played. It's just because like it was just at that place in time in Melee.
Yeah.
It just came out. I never saw anything like that ever. Like I played Super Smash Brothers, but then like I was like, it's a fun game. It's a fun multiplayer game. Melee was like, that was like the single player. That was like the most single player game you could ever get out of a multiplayer game ever.
True.
And
True.
like, and as far as the adventure mode, like Wii U version doesn't have that. And like I love adventure mode in that game.
Yeah, the adventure mode's good. One thing that's great about the Wii U version is that nothing beats an 8-player Smash.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. That idea was actually for Melee, but they couldn't do it on the hardware.
They just couldn't do it. Yeah. Which makes sense, but
yeah, I mean, what else am I missing too? Oh, Gears of War 1. Love that game. I think that's my favorite Xbox franchise is Gears of War.
Okay.
Love that game.
I would like Gears of War 1 is better than most of the Halos, but I think as a whole series, Halo's better.
Yeah, I
In my
agree.
opinion.
I just loved Gear. I love that universe.
Yeah, Gears universe is awesome.
It's really good. I may get an Xbox One for Gears of War 4. Like that's like I don't buy a system for one game, but I might because I love Gears.
Yeah.
But I feel like all right. Well, and Resident Evil 4, another one. I love that game, but we talked about that enough. So finally,
Wow,
favorite
number
game
one.
of all time.
Here we go. Hit it.
Oh no, wait, Pat's got something to say. What's up?
Oh, well, before we were talking about the Metal Gear franchise, I wonder, do any of those come on your
Yeah,
list?
Metal Gear Solid 2 is definitely one of my favorites. But it's not a game I go back to play every time. But I appreciate those games for how good they are, and I understand. But again, like if I had a list, Metal Gear Solid 2 would be up there, like an official list. But so number one of all time.
Number one. Here we go, baby.
This is it, and for me as of right now, it'll never change. It's The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that was going to be it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you why. That game came at a time in my life. I was in middle school when that game came out, so I was like still like a kid. I think I was like 12 years old when that game came out. So like it was like right before like preteen, kind of
Right
like
before he discovered masturbating.
yeah, and it was just like it was like a real special time. It was like it's at that transition time in your life where
Yeah.
like you kind of like don't really know who you are.
Yeah.
You're like not a kid, but you are, and like. I've always been a fan of movies.
It's like right before your balls drop and you get that first pube.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
Your voice
you're
is
like,
cracking.
Hey, Dad, what's going on?
Yeah. You find out what boobs are.
yeah.
Hey,
You
my
start
name's
liking-
Connor.
You start liking girls.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was all
Go
downhill
on.
from there. So, Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. It came at a time in my life where I was like, it's like you're 12 years old. You don't really know, like, you don't really know who you are at the time, but you're trying to find out who you like, who your friends are, what kind of music you like. It's like your personality develops.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
definitely.
every little kid has a personality, but like little kids get along because they're little kids. Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker is very similar to movies I really like. Like, do you guys ever see like the Monster Squad, The Sandlot,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yep.
Stand by Me?
Of course, yeah.
Fucking
I like
fantastic
coming
movie,
age.
dude.
Like,
Coming of age movies, movies in general where the kids have to take over because they're in charge and like they have to step up. And like me, like through my church, I work with the kids, and the one thing I try to teach the kids is like, hey, listen, just because you're young doesn't mean you have just as big a important role in your life than any adult ever. Just because you're younger, don't let anybody ever tell you that.
yeah.
So I know that's getting like really deep, but I have a point to it. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, you're young Link again. You're a young Link, but you're like it's a cartoony Link. So like the game kind of starts out as like whimsical and like charming and like right away like your sister's kidnapped and you have to save your sister. But at the same time, it's still kind of like funny and like very kiddish for a reason. And Link starts out as like very like brave because he has to be, but yet still very scared of the world and like the outside world because he grew up on like this isolated island for so long. So he has to just right away. Your sister's kidnapped. You have to venture out into the world, and like you have to save her. You're the only one that can. And like your grandmother is like extremely sad that you have to go, and like but yet knows you have to because you have to save your sister. And like it's kind of like reminds me of time. Like it kind of like came out of life where it's like just because I'm a kid doesn't mean I can't accomplish things in my life. And like that's what that game really speaks to because it's really like I like games where they're like, hey, just because you're at a age that you may feel like you might not be able to do anything, you can accomplish great things. And that's what this game really sends a message to. And besides that, the combat system in that game is the best out of all the Legend of Zelda series, like hands down. And the gameplay is phenomenal. And I remember at the time people were bitching about the graphics being like, oh, it's cartoony, the graphics aren't good. But that game looks better. That's the best looking GameCube game now, looking back, because of the art style. Like you look back at Resident Evil 4, at that time that game blew me away because it was so detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And now I look back, I'm like,
It's kind of iffy. Yeah.
it's kind of iffy. But then you look at the Wind Waker, and you're like, that game actually holds up because of the art style.
Yeah, you know what? Art style is a big thing. Like there are games that I don't necessarily love. I like, but I appreciate their art style more than I appreciate them as a game. Like Borderlands, like it's a good game and everything. Like people are in love with it, but I think the art style of it is way better than the games themselves.
Yeah, like it's gonna hold ground for a while.
And it's different. That's what it
no,
is.
that's what it was.
With the Wii U remake, all they did was up-res the graphics and change some of the lighting textures really, and upscale it to HD. And like that's why and like they didn't like the rumor has it for that game that it only took 6 months to develop for not the GameCube version but for the Wii U version because the style still looks great. And that's 2 generations ago. And like not to mention you see Link grow up in such a short amount of time because like he actually, and it's like weird because spoilers, Tetra is the pirate that helps you sail and helps you along your story in that game. She ends up being a reincarnation of Princess Zelda. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning of the game, Tetra is like like a hard ass, like like, hey, like, like, grow up, stop crying, do this. But towards the end of the game, Link grows up, and then Tetra actually, you kind of tell she's nervous about her destiny, and the roles kind of change. And then, but they still have to work together to take down Ganondorf, who's like this unstoppable evil.
But that's Evan's character, dude.
Oh, it's Evan's character.
So like they really like it just comes down to like it comes down to it comes down to like friendship overcoming any obstacle as long as you work together. It comes down to having to grow up in situations you may not feel like you're ready to grow up in. It comes down to like empowering kids, to telling them, hey, like, you can do this, and like don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And that kind of is that's how you get that feeling when you overcome any obstacle. So it was really just that game came at a time in my life where I was just like, it gave me confidence almost. As weird as that sounds, because it's from a video game, but like
no, but yeah,
no, that's not weird at all. Like,
but
people are affected by different things differently.
Yeah,
and if you enjoy playing video games, and if that one affected you like that, then it's not dumb, it's not lame,
and
or
like
anything
I go back and play that game, and I'm just like, wow, like this. And like it just hit me at a time where it was like perfect. It was like the perfect time to hit me, like a game like that. Like, it just, like, how much I love it. And like I said, the gameplay is phenomenal. Like, and I'm not gonna say there isn't flaws in the game. Like, the sailing doesn't bother me. I love the sailing because it's the traveling aspect that's a lot of fun. Looking for the Triforce shards is a little tedious, but they actually fixed that in the Wii U version. So I would say play the Wii U version, because that's that's the definitive version. But that game is just phenomenal. I love that game. I can play it. I play it once a year at least. Even if I don't beat it, I beat it numerous times. I've 100%ed it before. A lot of people love the Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. People argue with that one, but I think Wind Waker is the best one of the series. I think it has the best story. It has like the least text out of all of them,
right?
But tells the better story. And it actually is the one that kind of confirms that there was, before like the whole Legend of Zelda timeline came out, there was actually like arguments between the timeline. There was the linearists and there was the splitists. And the splitists said no, there's either two or multiple different timelines. And the linearist said no, there's one definitive timeline. The Wind Waker after Majora's Mask was kind of the one that, before the Zelda timeline came out, proved that there was kind of a splitist timeline. Mm-hmm. And then now there actually is a splitist. The official timeline is a splitist timeline. So, I can't talk enough about that game. I can spend an hour talking about it. It's one of my favorite games. It is my favorite game of all time.
Do you know what Dentino's favorite Zelda game is?
It's Ocarina of Time.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. I've never personally done it. I don't know anybody who does. But given like the way Wind Waker just made you feel, like the way you said that.
Yeah.
Just write a letter to Nintendo. Even if they don't answer, most of the time, if you do something like that, they'll send you free stuff. But it's just like,
that'd be awesome.
That's
give
just
me a job.
Yeah, it would be sick.
They probably won't give you a job, but like,
thanks, Pat.
That I mean, they should. They should hire Connor for everything. But that's a situation. That's a type of thing that's like worth writing to a company about.
Yeah, it's like, it's more so like the first time I ever heard like Led Zeppelin or something. Like, that's the way I feel about rock and roll.
Yeah, man, it just struck a chord. Like, just from playing that game, you're just like, I was so emotionally invested. It was like the first time I was like I love movies.
Like, it
too.
wasn't just a game. It was more.
It was more than that. Like, it just struck so hard. Like, I was just like, wow, like I felt like I could do anything.
Yeah.
And like that's, and like, we at a time and age where like people have a mindset like, oh, like we have to do everything for these kids. Like, kids can't take care of themselves. Oh wow, that kid can't pay attention. Give him some medicine. Like, let him sit down. Like, no, like bullshit. Like, Link, was in that game probably not even 11 years old. Like, just, he's like a little kid. Yet he still goes on this crazy adventure and saves the world. And seals the past off forever and looks towards a brighter future. And he does that by himself, and he does that through trust and friendship and through his destiny. And like, that game is just like, I don't know, like that game. I think like I like, there's a part of me that I feel like that wouldn't be the same because of that game if I didn't play that game.
Well,
do me a favor,
awesome.
Write a letter to Nintendo about
Yeah,
that.
you got to do that, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I really think you should.
That's your homework.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like you should. I'm telling you, dude, you guys should play that game. Like, it may you probably won't get the same feelings because we're like 24.
Well, yeah, because it's a different timeline,
it's a
in a
different
different place. But I mean, still, in the end, it's still a fantastic game.
Yeah,
because that's what we're basing it on.
Yep.
It's a game that can hold up. No matter how long it's gonna be out. it's a game you can turn around and play, and you're like, wow, this is a
Yeah,
phenomenal
it's just
game.
like, it's like
It's not also the way it made you feel. It's the gameplay as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
like I wouldn't have felt that way if the gameplay wasn't solid.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
You know?
of course.
And like I remember too, like I was like people were disappointed at the time too, like, oh, like why doesn't it's not adult Link? But I was like, man, like no, I'm glad it's young Link. Like that's like my favorite Link. Like to me, like I like as much as I love the dark and gritty Zeldas and like the adult Link and like the adventure, like kind of like a not game of like more of like a Lord of the Rings style, like darker story. Like I actually like the lighthearted Zelda because there's still elements of seriousness to it, but it's still a game about a guy who carries like millions of items and doesn't get weighed down.
Yeah.
So like, it's funny that way. So like
Yeah.
that's why like it makes more sense I feel like for Zelda to be a little more like Skyward Sword was really a happy medium.
Of course.
But so I think like the Wind Waker was, and like they did it with the DS versions. They went back to that cartoon style. I actually wasn't really a big fan of those games. Like they were good, but like they never like as far as a serious home console version, like main console versions one, they never went back to that style ever. So that game is just like my favorite game of all time. If I have one video game I ever had to pick ever to play, it'd be that game.
I expect a draft of that letter to Nintendo on my desk by the end of next week.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know who would read it though.
I want a final draft.
It
too.
doesn't matter. Just
It doesn't matter. Just send it, man. I mean, fuck it.
Yeah.
You gotta do it.
So that's my favorite game of all time.
It's a
Yeah, it's a great
choice.
explanation.
You know,
Fantastic.
that was like a beyond fantastic
Yeah,
explanation.
I
thank you.
agree. Yeah,
Like that got deep. That
Very
got deep.
fast. I love it.
Just 3 games I thought of while we were all talking
Dude,
about it.
I thought of like 6 even during that speech.
I
Like,
like one that,
All right,
that's
spitfire 'em.
like, that's
Yeah,
like
spitfire 'em.
Universal GoldenEye for N64.
Oh, I mean, come on. Yeah,
Yeah.
GoldenEye is. I mean, everyone and their mothers play that game.
Parappa the Rapper for PS1.
It's-
wow, I thought about that game for the first time in like 12 years the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned that.
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero 2.
Well, Guitar Hero was in
particularly.
it was in a prime of like our generation. That's another generational
Yeah.
game.
It came
You
out
know
at the
what I mean?
right time in our lives.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like we benefited a lot from like the right timing of certain video
Oh
games.
no, of course.
Like,
Everyone else is screwed.
Yeah, fuck the kids younger than us. Fuck the people older than us.
Yeah,
like
of
they
course.
suck. But
yeah.
the Elder Scrolls series,
Oh yeah.
fantastic series, and then Fallout 3. Personally for me,
Yeah.
Okay.
I
okay, yeah.
really enjoyed that. It was a good. It was. I like it so much because it was the Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
just post-apocalyptic and not completely broken like New Vegas was, but still really good.
I'm gonna add in just one game, and I will shut up. I promise. Twisted Metal series.
Oh
dude,
fuck!
how did we forget about that?
Twisted Metal fucking series.
Dude,
Yo, that I think
Twisted Metal Black and 2 were the
It
best
was
ones.
easily a game that made you like it forced you to go back and play as every single fucking person.
Yep.
Because you were dying to know how that arc story went. I
Yep.
mean, let's
Yeah.
be real here. You found one out, and you're like, well, there's a fucking dude on his hands are wheels and his body is fucking the frame of the car. How the hell do I not? I need to know the story. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Axel.
it was one of
That's-
the
oh,
yeah,
that's
it's
the
Axel.
guy,
It's
yeah.
one of those games that I mean you played. I mean, again, soundtrack was fucking awesome. It was one of those games that were like, I know when I played it when I was younger, it almost felt like kind of bad or like banned by my parents.
Yes,
because my mom
It is one of those.
hated
It's like
that
a
game.
risque.
You know
type
what I
of
mean?
game
So
for
it's one of those
kids.
kind of like more like you play when the lights go down or like a dark in the dark or something. And
Are you,
hear-
are you like you ask your dad like, hey, like I'm playing this game, like make
yeah,
sure
yeah,
Mom
no,
stays
of
away.
course, and it was totally that way. I remember playing that game, and I mean that's just a fantastic series. That I totally
that
forgot.
game, that series was so fun too.
Yeah.
Oh, so much fun.
And like that's a
It
game
was,
that
it was wild, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it was,
It
yeah.
was, it was a different. It was such a different concept and such a great concept. For 3 and 4, Rob Zombie did the soundtracks for those games.
Oh, yeah.
it was like the soundtrack. That was the first time I heard of Rob Zombie, and I was like, this music's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
White Zombie and his solo career, dude.
course,
was-
yeah.
like his
They-
music's awesome.
They did have another. It was another great franchise with great soundtracks, and like that's going back to Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Like those games, as fun and good as they were, really benefited from their soundtracks too. And like the music you were talking about in Street Fighter, like I think music and soundtracks can play a huge role in
A huge
terms of
Yeah.
the game. Like, and like
So
the soundtracks for Tony Hawk 2, Underground, and American Wasteland in particular for me were like just like and 3 were just like fucking some of the I have them all downloaded on my computer.
So yeah, Twisted Metal was something I had to add.
Well, yeah, like when it comes to music and sounding games, like I think of Twisted Metal. One thing I like the stark contrast between PlayStation and Nintendo is like Nintendo makes their own music for their video games, and it's phenomenal. Like the music in Super Mario Galaxy is some of the best music I've ever heard in a video game. But the thing I like about PlayStation is like, nah, we're gonna get artists, and like we're gonna get like Rob Zombie for like Twisted Metal. Oh, Tony Hawk's like Tony Hawk was originally for PlayStation and went over to Xbox, but like Tony Hawk, nope. Like we're getting punk rock and rap. Like NWA is on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
And Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Or that's on 2, but yeah.
2 is Anthrax featuring Public Enemy.
Oh, okay.
Feel the Noise.
Yeah, yep.
Dun,
And
dun,
then
dun, dun,
Rage Against the Machine, like one of
Yeah.
the most censored bands.
And it's just like, and like they're like, no, like that's it. Like I'm sure there's other games I'm missing too, but like yeah, PlayStation. No, like hey, we're gonna have like the artists do it, and like they both like, and they're both just as good for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. You know what? The track list for Guitar Hero 2, well, Guitar Hero 1 and 2 in particular, but I like Guitar Hero 2 better.
Yeah,
were just so fucking good.
Yeah, they were awesome. I mean, like I remember Guitar Hero 1, like as like I love that soundtrack, but they did the songs themselves.
Yeah.
Like whatchamacallit, that Jimi Hendrix song that's on Guitar Hero 1. It's
Castles Made of Sand.
Castles Made of Sand.
Yeah.
I don't even think there's supposed to be lyrics for that song, but I'm pretty sure they don't have lyrics in that version for Guitar Hero.
No, there's an instrumental and then there's a lyric version.
Yeah, and like they
Yeah.
just did an instrumental because they couldn't copy his voice.
Yeah.
And then like you hear like Fat Lip by Sum 41, sounds nothing like the lead singer.
Yeah, it sounds
No,
absolutely terrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? They probably got away with it because they were able to technically it was a cover and maybe,
Yeah.
but after Guitar Hero 1, they can get like the rights and just
Harmonix
put those.
blew up, so
Yeah.
it was like, oh, like we can get the rights to these songs now.
Yeah, they're coming out with another one. Like they're making a comeback, coming out with another one. They're making.
Yep.
They have mobile versions and stuff.
I'm glad it's
Cool,
coming
cool
back. I like
concept.
the way the guitar controller looks too. I think Rock Band's still gonna dominate because Rock Band's like the Guitar Hero's always been more of the arcadey competitive one, like who gets the best high score, whereas Rock Band's always been a little easier to play and more excessive because it's a
And
party
it's like
game.
it's another group thing.
Yeah.
All right, so
Well, that was fantastic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is like the
Yeah.
longest podcast we've ever done.
Might be
probably
2 points.
not actually.
No,
I don't know. We do have some long ones. We'll see.
it was fantastic though, and I'd like to thank you guys for having me on.
Cass,
Again, thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you again. very
Happy to
much.
have you here. Always happy to see you. Come on as much as you want. One thing I want to apologize for, we did have some technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
a little bit.
We had to like do awkward pauses with we had to stop the recordings at certain parts. One mic was too low. One mic, my mic in particular, for some reason, is very loud today, even with the adjustment to the volume.
yeah.
But fuck it.
My mom
Yeah,
yelled
suck
down
it,
again.
You know?
Again.
Again.
Yeah. It's like the fourth
Connor,
time.
are you down there? Who's over?
Yeah, you guys can deal with it.
Yeah. But either way, we hope you enjoyed it. And
Yes,
then
thank you
like
again for having me on.
this is more like of a broader topic that more people can probably relate to. So if you listen to this and you want to share your games with us,
Yeah,
comment
please
on
do.
this when
Yeah.
we upload it
Yeah, comment
on
Tell us
Facebook,
some of your
Twitter,
favorite
whatever.
games.
Just do it. Let's have a discussion.
Yeah.
no doubt.
Be friendly to each other too. There's too much YouTube hate out there.
Yeah, there is. We're all
If
friends.
if just because you may hate a game doesn't mean it's someone else's favorite game.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, just don't be that douchebag in the comment
Yeah,
section.
share the love.
Yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason for it.
All right.
Well, thank you again. Love you guys
Thank
very
you,
much.
Cass. Love you.
Yeah.
Any final words?
Nah, that's it, man. Games, it's the ultimate medium, and you
Yeah.
know what? I don't even care if there's ever a successful video game movie because there doesn't need to be. I love
Some of the video games are turning into better movies than their cutscenes are better than most movies now.
Yeah, but that's a different podcast for a different day.
Oh yeah, we'll get into it.
The sequel.
Yeah.
The video game sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our regular talks about Flash will continue next time. And then Jessica Jones, aka Jessica Jones, release date was just announced. So we'll finish Daredevil before then because there'll probably be some connection. as there is with every Marvel project.
Wait, there's gonna be stuff that connects in Marvel stuff.
Never.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
Oh, you know what? I mentioned this on Twitter, but Zack Snyder, fuck you for throwing shade at Marvel. Like, I like you, you're fine and everything, but that was kind of uncalled
shots
for.
fired. It was there was no reason for
Shots
it.
fired.
We got different podcast, different day.
Oh, hi, Mike. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Wow.